we can sort of characterise the Central and Eastern European market well. It's difficult really to come up with an idea about a single CEE market because there's such diversity within the region. Nevertheless, some general themes. One being around increasing mobilisation in the market. Okay, so we're seeing market penetration get comfortably above 100% in many markets in the region. At the same time, we're seeing the cost of using mobile fall quite dramatically. So what we're seeing is a shift to mobilising of consumers and the workforce within the Central Eastern European market. So if you look at the price premium of mobile versus fixed, in many markets it's actually cheaper to call on a mobile phone than it is to call on a fixed phone. So if we go back to 2006, there was a price premium for mobile of about 30%. Now we estimate, or in the middle of 2008, we estimate that premium was only 1%. Intuitively, one would assume that now across the region it's dropped below 1%, in fact below zero. So in effect, making mobile cheaper to call than fixed. So mobilisation is one element of the market. Secondly, it's demand for additional revenue from data services. So as we get a stagnation in subscriber growth, we're hitting a saturation point in terms of subscriber growth, both on the business and the well, not so much on the enterprise side, but certainly in the market overall, we're seeing a saturation point in terms of subscriber growth. Alongside that, we're not seeing any additional growth in average revenue per user from the traditional services from voice and SMS. So we're seeing a stagnation in those services. And in that context, the total amount of revenue generated for the operators is under threat. Now, the growth drivers, naturally the growth drivers and the areas that the operators need to look to grow revenues over the next, well, in the future generally, so certainly in the next 3 to 5 years, is data services to make up for that decline in voice. And there are a number of enablers coming in that will really push that. So network technologies and devices, a lot of things that you'll be able to see at the show here. So this combination of increasing affordability of mobile and the need for additional revenue streams is really what's driving the operators towards data services. And there's so that's one side of the equation. That's the operators' requirement, the mobile network operators' requirement for additional revenue from data services. Furthermore, the enterprises themselves, the businesses within those markets, are also demanding more value-added services, more data services, in order to increase efficiency and increase the effectiveness. So those are coming in really three areas. One being open access, so mobile broadband connectivity. Another being push email, which I'm sure we'll be diving into in much more detail. And the third being other horizontal and vertical applications, so things like Salesforce automation and access to CRM applications and so forth. So when you have those two elements, the one being the operators, the other being the businesses themselves, the issue is how does that translate into an impact on economic growth, which is really what we're here to discuss. Now, it's quite difficult to quantify what the impact on economic growth of mobility would be, but there have been a few studies done on this, mostly on Sub-Saharan Africa and Asia, and they've even there it's been difficult to quantify, but I think we can intuitively say that by introducing efficiency savings to businesses, we can identify that there will certainly be a benefit to the economy on the whole. So we believe, Analysys Mason, on the back of the research that we've done, we think that if you can save a time saving of 15 to 30 minutes per day from an application such as push email will effectively pay for itself plus add a selection of additional benefits like access to senior management and so on and so forth, that will give a significant benefit to the business and naturally to the wider environment as a whole. So by definition, that will have an impact. What's good for the network operators, what's good for the businesses will naturally be good for the economy as a whole. Because you're talking about connectivity versus no connectivity. A fisherman in India will be able to benefit from knowing where the best place to sell his fish will be. And so you have a fundamental shift from lack of connectivity to connectivity. Now, Central and Eastern Europe is a completely different, market dynamics are very different. So effectively what we have is a market which is almost bypassing the 20th century way of doing telecoms and moving directly to the 21st century way of doing telecoms, which is mobile.
Well, I mean, this is an enabling technology. I like to call it a leapfrog technology. It allows people who we have countries examples. Argentina is a good case where we have an agricultural co-op. There's a case study on our website you can view. In this case, they were not. Some of the people in the agricultural co-op were never had any connectivity whatsoever. So they were in a case of no connectivity. The first mobile device they had was a BlackBerry. In some cases, they never had a fixed line, so it was the first access to communications. What's really unique about the story and very interesting is that you take people who were living very remote existence in the agricultural industry and at severe disadvantages, and you gave them a technology that allowed them to communicate with other farmers across the region. We're able to share crop prices. We're able to share growing tips. And it took people, and it really leapfrogged them from if you will, a third world farmer to be able to compete with very efficient farms that are being run in other parts of the country, or other parts of the globe. So this was a great enabling technology. It allows people to leapfrog and go from whether they have connectivity now with that efficiency savings, that time savings, and the ability to have information at your fingertips. That's very crucial to your business. Is absolutely available today, and it's being utilized across the world.